The department has filed a case to revoke citizenship of a former South Florida mayor.
Authorities say he faked his identity and more to stay in the country and become a U.S. citizen.
We believe at least 2 of these drug dealers were playing Russian roulette with people's lives, pushing pills that were disguised as the prescription painkiller oxycodone, when in actuality, the pills were fentanyl.
I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay, we're going to them.
Tons of drugs have been seized as a result of this task force. We try to put this in perspective for you. This would be filling 4 18-wheelers. 4. All the drugs just in the last month that have been taken off the street.
This story starts with a man who agreed to wear a wire. His name was Hector Salinas. He was 39 years old. He had been a mid-level financial operative inside a major Midwestern cartel money laundering network for the past 11 years. He was, by every standard the cartel used to evaluate its own people, trusted. He had moved tens of millions of dollars through layered banking structures without ever drawing federal attention. He had introduced 2 of his cousins to the organization. He had attended weddings, baptisms, and funerals inside the network. He was, in the way these things actually work, family. He was also tired. His wife had been asking for years why he could not sleep. His daughter had started flinching when his phone rang at night. His father, who did not know what his son actually did for a living, was dying of pancreatic cancer in a small house in suburban Aurora, and Hector could not bring himself to look the old man in the face anymore. In April of the previous year, Hector Salinas walked into the FBI's Chicago field office on his lunch break. He sat down across from a senior special agent. He told her, in flat, careful language, that he wanted to cooperate. He told her what he had been doing for 11 years. He told her what he knew. And then he told her something the FBI had not previously known. He told her that for the past 18 years, a significant portion of the cartel's Midwestern logistics, distribution, and laundering infrastructure had been operating under the active protection of the sitting mayor of a major Midwestern city. The senior agent across the table did not react immediately. She asked Hector to repeat what he had just said. He repeated it. She asked him how he knew. He told her that he had personally moved the bribe payments through the layered banking structure he had been operating for the past 11 years to a series of shell accounts that he had eventually traced through quiet observation and careful inference back to the mayor's office. He told her where the cash transfers ended up. He told her about the Penthouse. If you believe corruption like this should be brought into the light, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and comment exposed below. The investigation that followed took 14 months. It had to move carefully. The target was a sitting mayor of a major American city, a 3-term incumbent with deep political connections, a wide donor network, and a reputation for being one of the more effective municipal executives in the Midwest. Every move the federal investigators made had to be documented twice, witnessed twice, and verified twice. The case had to survive years of motions, appeals, and political pressure. What investigators assembled over those 14 months was the picture of an operation that had been running for 18 years. The mayor's name was Anthony Doverly, 63 years old, 3-term mayor, former county prosecutor before that, former state assemblyman before that, the kind of municipal executive who had been in public office for so long that most of the city's voters could not remember a time when his name was not on a ballot. For 18 years, his office had been operating a parallel decision-making structure that ran beneath the formal apparatus of city government. Through that parallel structure, city contracts had been steered toward a network of business entities whose ultimate beneficial ownership traced back to the cartel money laundering infrastructure that Hector Salinas had been working inside for 11 years. Waste management contracts, commercial trucking subcontracts, rail freight terminal operations, industrial cold storage leases, city-owned warehouse properties. Each contract, on paper, served a legitimate municipal purpose. Each contract, beneath its corporate cover, provided the cartel network with operational logistics infrastructure that the federal regulatory system had no reason to look at closely because the contracts themselves were issued by a city government that was supposed to be above suspicion. The combined municipal contract value steered through the parallel structure across the 18-year window came out to approximately $2.1 billion. But the contracts were not just laundering vehicles. They were operational protection. Each steered contract gave the cartel network legal cover for activities that would otherwise have drawn federal scrutiny. Trucking fleets that could move cartel logistics under the cover of municipal waste hauling, rail terminal access that could expedite cartel shipments under the cover of legitimate commercial freight, cold storage facilities that could warehouse cartel inventory under the cover of legitimate food distribution, and city-owned warehouse leases that provided operational staging points beneath the protective umbrella of municipal property documentation. The total operational value of the contract protection layer, calculated across all the cartel activities it had enabled, came out to approximately $2.9 billion across the 18-year window. A portion of that value had flowed back to the mayor through a layered network of shell companies, offshore consolidation accounts, and, for the cash portion, physical transfers that had been carefully accumulated over the years inside the mayor's primary residence, a penthouse on the city's lakeshore, specifically inside a vault built into the wall behind the master bedroom. The man who had implemented the operation inside city government was the mayor's longtime chief of staff, Reuben Holshaw. 59 years old, 26-year political operative, the kind of staff chief who knew where every contract approval bottleneck was inside the city's procurement system because he had personally been responsible for designing some of those bottlenecks in his earlier career. But Holshaw was not the architect of the operation, he was its implementer. The architecture, the system that had allowed 18 years of contract steering to occur without triggering a single federal corruption investigation, had been designed by someone with deep prior federal experience. His name was Edwin Krallen, 66 years old, former special agent in charge of the FBI's Midwest Public Corruption Unit. Before that, 15 years as a senior federal special agent, specializing in cartel-influenced municipal corruption investigations. Before that, 12 years as a federal prosecutor in the Northern District of Illinois. He had retired from federal service 12 years earlier. Within 6 months of his retirement, he had been quietly retained as a private strategic consultant through a corporate cover called Lake Region Public Affairs Strategies, LLC, operating out of a commercial office in the city's River North District. Inside the encrypted communications archive that investigators eventually recovered from Krallen's operational server, his code name was The Agent. A message in the archive, written 8 years into the operation, read, "Federal corruption investigations build cases by detecting structural patterns. My career was the construction of those patterns. Our work here is to ensure that no individual decision, taken in isolation, ever assembles into a structure that resembles anything the federal investigators have been trained to recognize." Until a tired financial operative inside the cartel network walked into the FBI field office on his lunch break, looked across a table at a senior special agent, and started talking. The raid happened at 3 a.m. At 2:34 a.m. on a Thursday, a federal judge in the Northern District of Illinois signed simultaneous search and arrest warrants for 19 locations across the metropolitan area and across the broader Midwest. At 2:58 a.m., the order went out. The 3 a.m. timing was deliberate. The mayor was at the Lakeshore Penthouse that night. He had a public schedule clear until a charity breakfast scheduled for 9 o'clock that morning. The Penthouse building's overnight security rotation was at its weakest in the hour after 2 a.m. The building's residential floors were quiet enough that federal agents approaching through the building's secure freight elevator would not be observed by anyone outside the operation until the breach team was already at the door of the unit. Location 1, the Lakeshore Penthouse. FBI and DEA tactical teams entered the building through the freight elevator and through a secondary tactical entry via the building's emergency stairwell access. The building's overnight concierge cooperated immediately once the federal warrants were presented. Federal agents reached the penthouse door at 3:14 a.m. and breached entry at 3:17 a.m. Mayor Anthony Doverly was inside the residence. He was awake. He had been reading a book on the terrace overlooking the lake. He did not resist. He asked once whether his attorney had been notified. He was told that his attorney would be contacted through the appropriate federal protocol. Federal engineering teams then proceeded to the master bedroom suite, which the investigation had mapped extensively during the preceding 14 months through subpoenaed architectural records, building maintenance records, and the operational intelligence Hector Salinas had provided. Behind the master bedroom's primary headboard wall, Behind a concealed hydraulic locking steel panel that had been built into the original penthouse construction 18 years earlier, agents accessed the vault. The vault was approximately 120 cubic feet of finished, climate-controlled storage built into the load-bearing concrete wall behind the bedroom. Inside, agents recovered the following: approximately $68 million in U.S. currency, banded and shrink-wrapped in commercial bank packaging, approximately 94 kilograms of gold bullion, offshore banking documentation tied to accounts in the Cayman Islands, Panama, and Switzerland, and a smaller hidden compartment containing 4 foreign passports, 3 in different names, for the mayor and members of his immediate family. Location 2, Reuben Holshaw's residence, North Shore suburbs. Holshaw was at home. He did not resist. Inside the residence, agents recovered 6 burner phones, 3 home office laptops with active encrypted messaging sessions, a wall safe containing approximately $1.8 million in cash and gold bars, and a hidden floor compartment containing offshore banking documentation tied to the same consolidation accounts as the Penthouse vault. Location 3, Lake Region Public Affairs Strategies Office, River North District. Edwin Crallon was inside the office at the time of the raid. A document shredder was operating. Inside a back office, behind a built-in cabinet, agents found a black rack-mounted server, running, active, and transmitting. Cyber analysts began extraction immediately. Crallon did not resist arrest. He recognized 2 of the agents personally, both of whom had worked under him during his career at the FBI. He said nothing. Location 4, Edwin Crallon's residence, Lake Forest, Illinois. Crallon was already in custody at his office. Inside the residence, agents found a home office server concealed inside a built-in cabinet in a private library, backup drives spanning the full 12 years of his post-retirement operational record, a wall safe containing approximately $920,000 in cash, and a hidden floor compartment containing 5 foreign passports, 4 in different names. Location 5, City Hall, Mayor's Office Suite. A secondary FBI team executed a federal warrant on the mayor's official office suite at City Hall. 6 senior staff members were detained for questioning. Agents executed a full federal seizure of the office's electronic records, internal communications, and physical files relating to the steered city contracts identified in the investigation. Locations 6 through 19. 14 additional locations, including the registered offices of 10 shell companies across the metropolitan area and northern Indiana, 3 regional cartel-affiliated logistics properties tied to the steered municipal contracts, the private residences of 3 corporate intermediaries who had managed the offshore consolidation accounts, and the offices of 2 senior municipal procurement officials who had been routing contract steering decisions through the parallel structure. By 7:32 a.m. that Thursday morning, 46 individuals were in federal custody. Anthony Doverly, Reuben Holshaw, Edwin Crallon, 7 senior mayoral advisors and policy aides, 6 senior city procurement officials whose decisions had been routing through the parallel structure. Hector Salinas was not among the arrested. By the time the raids executed, he had been moved into protective custody under federal arrangement, along with his wife, his daughter, and his elderly father. The father lived another 3 weeks. He died not knowing what his son had actually done for a living. Assets frozen domestically, $1.1 billion. Offshore accounts flagged through international cooperation agreements. An additional $870 million under active legal proceedings. I want to come back to Hector Salinas, because there is something about how this case actually broke that I think matters more than any of the dollar amounts. He walked into the FBI on his lunch break. He told a senior special agent the truth. He spent the following 14 months wearing wires, recording conversations, and quietly accumulating the kind of operational evidence that no surveillance team could have assembled from the outside. He did this knowing that if anyone inside the network ever found out what he was doing, his family would not survive what came next. He did it anyway. The operation he helped bring down had been running for 18 years. It had survived 18 years of municipal audits, federal oversight reviews, state procurement reviews, public records requests, election cycles, and the careful design work of a former senior federal special agent who had spent 32 years building the very corruption recognition framework he was now quietly running operations against. It had moved nearly $3 billion in cartel value through municipal contracts without triggering a single federal corruption alert. It did not survive a man who decided that one more sleepless night was one too many. If a corruption network this large could operate for 18 years inside one of the most heavily monitored municipal governments in the American Midwest, moving $2.9 billion in cartel value through city contracts while every formal oversight mechanism functioned as designed, how many other Hector Salinas-E's are sitting tonight in cities across the United States, looking at their dying parents, deciding whether or not to walk into a federal field office on their lunch break and tell the truth?